My next thought on this is another conference, and it's more specific to one team. I thought Michigan would be in the top 4. They weren't. Clemson's overranked. Okay, like it just is what it is. Like you have to be a ridiculous Clemson, homer to think that this is an appropriate ranking for Clemson. I don't know what the committee was doing, quite frankly, until you look at what's going on in the back end of the rankings. And then it's like, oh, there you go. They cooked the books for Clemson by stashing Syracuse, Wake Forest, and North Carolina State back there in the back end, 20, 21, and 22. So then you can say, well, Clemson's the only team in the country that has 3 wins against CFP top 25 teams. Okay, good for them. They don't have the strength of record nor the strength of schedule of even a TCU. You can't even come close to putting on the film and saying that they've been as dominant as Michigan. Not even close, by the way. Do you know that only 5% of Michigan's snaps all season long have been with a deficit? So they've been playing with the lead. They've been totally dominant, totally dominant. What they did to Penn State was light years better than whatever Clemson has done in any single game that they have played. And so Michigan, they should be number 4. Clemson is not better than Michigan. I said in a tweet, I kind of get it because, listen, their non-conference was really bad. And the reason that you have to look at their non-conference is because they only have 1 win against CFP top 25 teams, not the 3 that Clemson has. So then if you're going to compare them next to each other, yeah, they both have horrific non-conference schedules. And I don't include Notre Dame in the non-conference for Clemson. I'm looking at their, what is it? It's their Georgia Tech, Furman, and La Tech, as opposed to UConn, Hawaii, and CSU for Michigan. Both of them are awful non-conference slates. Awful. And I think they would even admit that. Now, the problem is, for me at least, is that this committee is supposed to have football people on it. I know some of them on this committee. And there are, I respect a lot of the people on this committee. And apparently they didn't turn on the video between Michigan and Clemson because these two teams have not been even close at all. At all. All you got to do is turn on the film and you would see that Michigan is a much better team. I do think that the lack of quality mid-tier Big Ten teams is hurting Michigan in this sense. The fact that a Michigan State is not having a good year, this is hurting them. But they will have a chance against 2 more CFP ranked teams, Illinois next to last game of the season, and then Ohio State, obviously, in the last game of the season. The reason, the Michigan thing, it's hey, does it really matter? Not really for Michigan because they clearly control their own destiny. They've got those 2 games against CFP top 25 teams coming up, including Ohio State. You're not going to beat Ohio State, go undefeated, and win the Big Ten and not go to the playoff. So Michigan clearly controls their own destiny. Now, having said that, this playoff committee showed themselves to be lacking in judgment. The Clemson rank at 4 is a bit of a joke behind or ahead of Michigan. The TCU rank is a bit of a joke, and they got caught kind of with that LSU at 10, like I was saying.